Hello everyone, for this tutorial video I'd like to talk about the basic concept of electrical resistance, as well as an explanation for the theory of Ohm's law, which predicts how much current will happen for a given amount of resistance. As was discussed in a previous video, a short circuit happens when there is too much electricity flowing throughout a circuit, and so the circuit behaves in an out-of-control fashion. For this reason, a property of the circuit known as resistance is used to regulate the amount of electricity going through. And this is analogous to resistance in water pipes, so that the water does not pass straight through the pipe, but gets delivered in a more even and consistent manner. A well-known example of electrical resistance is a traditional light bulb called an incandescent light bulb, which glows white hot from heat energy when enough electricity goes through it. And the heat comes not from the electricity itself, but from the resistance of the material, which is similar to friction in mechanics, in that whereas friction dissipates mechanical energy as heat energy, electrical resistance dissipates electricity as heat energy instead. The exact measurement of how much resistance something provides is measured with something called ohms, which is denoted with the Greek letter omega, that looks like an upside-down horseshoe, which is different than the omega mentioned earlier for angular velocity, because one is capital and one is lowercase. The physicist George Ohm predicted that the exact amount of current for a specific amount of resistance is given by the formula V equals I times R, where V is voltage, I is current, and R is resistance. Although many electrical components are more complicated than this simple theory would predict, it can be good enough for some practical applications, like in very simple circuits. I will not give a more in-depth explanation of all the actual factors involved until a later video. For now, simply know that V equals I times R is a good approximation for most purposes. It is important to note that just like when I discussed the basics of how circuits work, if the circuit is open, the resistance stops, owing to the simple fact the overall electricity stops. So in the case of an incandescent bulb, it will stop glowing, because it needs electricity in order to generate resistance. Now that I've explained the very basic concepts of how electrical resistance works, I can begin teaching how to analyze more complicated but realistic circuits, starting with an explanation of what a series circuit is in my next tutorial video. Don't forget to subscribe if you found this video informative, and make sure to see the other tutorial videos, and follow me on either Facebook or Twitter for more content.